the author of Diversity Tweet, Embracing the Growing Diversity in Our World. She is at work on a second book, tentatively named as At Home Anywhere in the World. And this book is about her and her community's experiences as a global citizen and what is shaping the new voice of diversity. Her upcoming new ebook, Pink and Grow Rich, speaks of 11 unreasonable rules for success for women leaders. She speaks and consults on diversity, blogs at www.deepikabajaj.com, and writes a column on social media for Active Garage. She has become a co-founder of Active Garage and they have currently launched 99tribes.com. So she's a star. That's all I can say. So please help me welcome Deepika Bajaj.
Right, all Indian American women, how are you doing this evening? Well, they've set the bar up for us to look beautiful tonight. So, anyway, here comes my speech. I was thinking of this, I was going to talk to you this evening. So I was thinking about it, what I'm going to talk to you. And I thought of writing a speech, but then I thought that would get boring. And I thought of writing a story. So I'm going to share a story with you. Almost 3 years ago, one October morning, I had a chance meeting with my mentor. And he's in the audience today. So Rajesh, please raise your hand. At that point, I had no idea what I was going to do in my future. And sipping on a chai latte, he asked me one simple question. Deepika, what are you going to become? I looked at him puzzled. I thought the question meant what I was going to be when I grow up. And I said to him, I always wanted to start a company. And I would love to do that. Well, he looked at me again. He paused and smiled and said, well, I'm asking you, what would you like to become? And at that instant of time, I realized the question was not what I was going to do, what I was going to become. He said, you know what, I would like to empower women in the workforce. I really want to champion the cause of minority and diversity in the workforce. And he said, what is stopping you then? And I said, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough contacts, and I don't have enough experience. And then he looked at me and said, by when will you have all those three? Well, that was the moment I actually encountered my fear of failure. Well, I want to share with you a little bit about my childhood. When I was a young child, I was blessed to be surrounded by entrepreneurs. My grandfather, my father, both were entrepreneurs. Luckily for my grandfather, he had a streak of success. He did well. But my father had financial crisis. So there was moments in my life when I saw my mother step up to the plate, and really she opened a boutique and she would tailor clothes so that we could meet our financial obligations. Given that situation, I think there was some fear that set into me, and I realized that there was no going forward if you had no money. And I think that stopped me for a long time. Fast forward from that instant of time, then he sat right in front of me and asked me that question, and I was like, there's this man who's sitting right in front of me and he believes in me. What is the problem? Why can't I believe in myself? So I looked at him and said, what the hell, let's do it. And there has been no looking back since then. I want to also give you a little bit perspective on the timing of this event. When I started my company, I had to quit a 6-figure job and a company to die for with like first that anybody would dream of. As I began my journey, my father called me one day and he said, "Beta, please don't quit your job." Like every father, he wanted to be sure that I was safe and secure. And I said, "Dad, I just need to do that." But prior to that, in every venture that Dad had, I would invest money. Since he was in the US, I would always support his ventures and I would give money to him for that. This was the first time when he asked me for money. I said, "Dad, I cannot invest in your company because I'm heavily invested in my own." He said nothing and simply took out another loan. 6 months later, I was on a radio show where I was talking about my company and how we began. And my father called me on the cell phone. He had heard the radio show. He called me. And mind you, my father never called me while I've been in the US. He never called me. I was the one who would call him. So I was surprised. I'm like, "Dad, you're calling me?" He said, "I just heard your radio show. And now I understand what you're doing. I really want you to continue what you're doing because I think that what you're doing is for a larger good and I'm very proud of you." 3 days later, my father passed away. And I was left with that feeling and that feeling that what was the decision that I made, was it good or bad? Be it good or bad, today, 3 years later, I am in presence of all of you receiving the Entrepreneurial Achievement Award. And tomorrow is his 3rd death anniversary. So if I were to leave you with one message, what would that be? My message is believe in yourself. My message is fear is the most crippling emotion that one can have. My message is that if you have a dream, don't quit on it. And my message is that you can live life larger than yourself. So why stand back and watch the world grow? So I want to end with one thing. I understood from the work that I've done in the last few years that the larger I grow, the more I grow, the more I succeed. I take many more with me. So I empower you, or I encourage you to come and really lift the world to a better place so that we leave this world behind better for our sons, daughters, women, community, everyone at large. So be committed to whatever it is. Especially if you are a company or business owner, make your company work. Once you get it right, there is no stopping you. And I end with a quote that is very dear to me from Lao Tzu. He said, "Be careful what you water your dreams with. Water them with worry and fear, and you will produce weeds that choke the life of your dreams. Water them with optimism and solutions, and you will cultivate success. Always be on the lookout for ways to turn a problem into an opportunity. Always be on the lookout for ways to nurture your dream." Lao Tzu. And today I want to dedicate this award to my brother and mentor Rajesh, my husband Himanshu, and most importantly to my mother on this Mother's Day, who I couldn't have here because she lives in India. So thank you very much.